With the deployment of these units, the threat is neutralized. We believe this technology ensures the safety and security of
the Everglades is in crisis. The Burmese python invasion has triggered an ecological blackout, wiping out native wildlife and spreading faster than experts ever predicted. For years, this devastating generational battle has looked nearly impossible to win. But now, scientists have unveiled a secret weapon, one that sounds like science fiction: robotic rabbits powered by advanced technology and artificial intelligence. This cutting-edge digital system is already disrupting python behavior, exposing hidden dens, and helping removal teams strike with unprecedented precision. For the first time in decades, the tide is turning. And if the early results continue, these AI-driven decoys might just save the Everglades before it's too late. The ecological blackout. The Everglades is currently in a tragic state. It was once a beautiful place, crawling with different types of animals, but now it is filled with a python population running well into the tens of thousands. It's an overwhelming problem. Experts don't talk about eradicating them anymore because they've realized this snake is now a permanent and terrifying part of the ecosystem. The scale of this takeover is hard to wrap your head around. The pythons have created what's essentially an ecological blackout. Road surveys conducted by researchers reveal alarming specific drops in native mammal sightings since the pythons became established. We're talking about catastrophic numbers. Raccoon sightings plummeted by 99.3%. Opossums faced a near-identical loss, with a 98.9% decline. Even apex hunters like the bobcat sightings dropped by 87.5%. Species like the marsh rabbit and the cottontail rabbit have effectively disappeared. The entire food web has been destroyed, turning the lively swamp into a biological desert, and the losses are worst in the most remote areas where the pythons have been established the longest. And the danger is spreading faster than we realized. The pythons didn't just bring their hunger, they also brought a hidden problem. They introduced the Asian lungworm parasite. While pythons can handle it, Florida's native snakes have no natural immunity. For native species, it causes severe health issues, lung lesions, inflammation, and even death. This threat is now detected in at least 29 Florida counties, infecting over 19 of the state's native snake species, like black racers and pygmy rattlesnakes. This parasite has a complex life cycle, using frogs and lizards as intermediate hosts, allowing the infection to rapidly spread far beyond the python's habitat. Researchers track this covert invasion using the Snake Lungworm Alliance and monitoring SLAM system, revealing a deadly biological time bomb that adds another layer of cruelty to this crisis. The python's success comes down to one thing: you simply can't find them. They are masters of cryptic camouflage. Try searching for a 9-foot snake in 1.5 million acres of dense water and sawgrass. The vastness of the Everglades, combined with their stealth, completely defeated all the early general search efforts. Hunters searched for weeks, only to find they had walked right over the top of the problem countless times. The snakes were invisible. Faced with an enemy this widespread and elusive, Florida realized they couldn't rely on simple luck. They had to pour massive resources into the fight. We know about the tireless professional hunters and the public challenges, and we've seen record-breaking removal efforts. That commitment shows the state is serious. However, even these huge achievements only chip away at a population this large. To truly turn the tide, the strategy had to become much, much smarter. We know the pythons are masters of disguise, but their success shows a weakness. They have to move, they have to eat, and in doing so, they leave a trail. That trail is what Florida's experts are now hunting. The battle against the pythons is ongoing, fueled by a dedicated group of experts and passionate citizens. Their work isn't just a quick fix, but a long-term commitment to controlling the problem. Florida's approach has shown success in sheer numbers. Since the year 2000, more than 23,000 pythons have been removed from the environment. That dedication paid off dramatically in the year 2025. In July alone, hunters removed a record-breaking 748 pythons. That's a massive surge in efficiency, tripling the numbers from the same period the year before. While these numbers aren't wiping out the entire population, they represent crucial successes in management and show the state is taking the problem seriously. This ongoing success is powered by teamwork. Florida depends on a close partnership between state officials and the community. Each year, the Florida Python Challenge attracts hundreds of people, turning conservation into an exciting and competitive event. It's an unusual way to fight an ecological disaster, but it's effective. It brings fresh attention and helps remove important snakes from the wild. Plus, partnerships with companies like Inversa Leathers show that many people and organizations are getting involved, finding creative ways to help solve the issue. The real cleverness comes from using the snake's own behavior against them. The Scout Snake program is one of the best examples. Researchers tag and release male pythons because during breeding season, these males head straight to the larger, more important females that are laying eggs. This helps experts find and target the key snakes to control the population. It's a brilliant way to turn the enemy into an informant, allowing hunters to target the source of the population growth. This technique sets the model example. The most successful methods rely on data and leveraging snake behavior, not just random searching. The problem is that despite record-breaking removals, the python population still thrives. The sheer size of the Everglades means the battle is never ending. The gap remains huge between finding some pythons and finding enough pythons. This is the main logistical challenge. We know the snakes are still out there, hidden in those vast, commonly used areas, completely evading even the most skilled human hunters. We had perfected the hunt with intelligence and stealth, but now we've reached a barrier. That's where the scientists turned to data. We knew the pythons weren't random. Research had cracked their travel habits. The problem wasn't what we knew, but the difficulty in luring these snakes out from the dense underbrush to confirm the data. Cracking the serpent's code, the shift to behavioral science. The hard work of the human hunters and scout snake teams really gave scientists a big advantage: knowledge. The most important discovery came from USGS research, showing that these pythons aren't just lost, wandering around the swamp. They have a strong sense of direction, a navigational map and compass sense. So every move they make is on purpose. They know exactly where they are going and why. This research revealed startling facts, confirming pythons possess a sophisticated navigational map and compass sense. Researchers gathered 6 pythons, attached radio transmitters, and relocated them between 13 and 22 miles away from their capture sites. To the scientists' surprise, all but one snake demonstrated a remarkable homing ability, navigating back to within just 3 miles of its original location. This extraordinary finding proved that simply relocating a python doesn't work, as they would simply find their way back. With this clear scientific insight, researchers developed a strong strategy for control. They found that pythons regularly gather in specific, common-use areas. These spots aren't random. The snakes choose carefully where to stay, mainly in sloughs and coastal habitats. A key characteristic of these areas is tree island elevated spots with a dense canopy that aren't flooded deeply. Also, their longest movements often align with surface water, indicating they use the extensive water system to travel efficiently. This insight was extremely valuable because it allowed hunters to stop searching every part of the Everglades and focus on these high-traffic routes. The challenge wasn't the knowledge itself, it was closing the huge gap between understanding the snake's behavior and actually catching them. Even when researchers knew where the pythons should be, their camouflage made it nearly impossible to spot and capture them. The early idea to bridge that gap was simple, but ultimately flawed. Use live bait. Using captive animals like marsh rabbits proved to be ethically problematic and logistically impractical. The risk of the rabbits being harmed was high, raising significant animal welfare concerns. Practically, the process was labor-intensive, requiring teams to constantly monitor pens spread across remote terrain. Caring for the rabbits was time-consuming and costly, making the method entirely unsustainable for the long war ahead. This challenge pushed researchers to make a scientific breakthrough. Since using a real animal wasn't an option, they decided to build one instead. They created a technological substitute, a precise digital replica of the marsh rabbit. This device would attract pythons while eliminating the ethical and practical problems. To be effective, it had to perfectly imitate the heat, scent, and movement of the snake's preferred prey. If you can't use the real thing, you engineer the perfect imitation. The Robo-Rabbit is more than a toy. It is an ethical $4,000 solution designed to solve the two biggest problems at once: attraction and data collection. The failure of the live bait program forced researchers to answer a difficult question. Could you build an animal that was both irresistible to a python and completely ethical? The answer was found in a small solar-powered machine, the Robotic Rabbit. This isn't some cartoon character or a kid's toy. It is the cutting edge of conservation technology, and it represents a massive shift in Florida's management strategy. The whole project is a serious scientific endeavor that began in the summer of 2025. Its aim was straightforward: to develop a sustainable, reusable tool that acts as a direct, humane alternative to the ethically problematic methods used before. Since pythons are driven by instinct, the robot needed to replicate those instinctual triggers flawlessly. What makes this project really fascinating is how researchers started with a simple rabbit toy shell and upgraded it with advanced tech. The first crucial feature is heat. Because pythons hunt by detecting the warm blood of their prey, the robot is equipped with special internal heaters that produce a thermal signal exactly like that of a small, scared mammal. Next came the scent. The team developed a specialized system to release synthetic marsh rabbit musk, chemically replicating the exact pheromones the snake associates with a meal. Then, to make the decoy believable, the robot is equipped with small motors, allowing it to be remotely controlled to perform realistic, twitching motions. The entire unit is solar-powered, making it ideal for continuous long-term deployment in the middle of nowhere. This ingenious design meant the pythons would perceive the robot as a real easy meal, all without risking a single live animal. Importantly, the robotic rabbit isn't designed as a trap. Its main purpose is detection. The rabbit works alongside an advanced AI camera system. When a python gets close, the AI identifies the snake and instantly sends an alert to the team. This provides the human capture crew with the exact location of a python just moments before it would strike, something they could never achieve by searching blindly. About 120 of these units were deployed this summer by researchers from the University of Florida and the South Florida Water Management District. They were placed directly into those high-activity, common-use areas identified by the earlier USGS research. The deployment acknowledged that this is a long-term research commitment. The robots will first collect data, then lure the snakes. By deploying these digital spies, scientists aim to validate all their previous knowledge about where pythons operate, turning theoretical data into confirmed locations. Everything was ready for a major scientific breakthrough. But in the Everglades, the threat was never just one. The very lifelike design meant to attract the python soon revealed the experiment to a new kind of risk, an unpredictable, real-world factor that no one had fully expected. Real science and the game changer. Equipped with solar panels and synthetic scent, the robotic rabbits finally provided researchers with the bait they urgently needed. Around 120 of them were deployed in the busiest python areas. The early results looked promising. The pythons showed interest. However, an entirely unforeseen problem soon emerged. The story that immediately went viral, the one that got everyone talking, was straight out of a monster movie. The precise heat signatures and realistic scent emissions didn't just fool the pythons. They were basically ringing the dinner bell for the Everglades' original apex predator, the American alligator. This concern was based on fact. Alligators are known to opportunistically prey on small, warm-blooded animals. With the robot's incredibly realistic signals, it was very likely they would attract a gator. The media jumped on this alarming story, $4,000 worth of advanced equipment being treated like a chew toy. The headlines labeled the project an insane disaster, claiming alligators were wrecking the costly scientific effort. For a brief moment, the public had a clear reason to believe the entire initiative was a total failure. But here's where we pause for a moment. That version of the story, the one where the gator wins and science fails, isn't real, and it misses the entire point of the engineering. While it's believable that alligators might attack the decoys, current reports don't show they're ruining the project. This so-called disaster is really just an exaggeration of the usual challenges that come with a new project, which is meant to collect data and figure out any issues in real conditions. This massive disconnect between the rumor and the report reveals the true battle being fought. The goal of the project was never to build an indestructible machine. Its core function is detection. Researchers are aware of the complex ecosystem, and their camera systems are designed to detect any large predator approaching the decoy. The protocol is to intervene and remove the invasive python, while leaving native alligators to continue their important role. The integrity of the project rests on the data being sent back, not the physical survival of every single machine. The Robo-Rabbit's main job is gathering telemetry data on python interactions, movement patterns, and timing. It is a validation tool to aid human hunters. The fact that the media focused so much on the alligator issue shows that the fight against misleading stories is just as important as the fight against the pythons themselves. The scientists didn't panic when the speculative headlines dropped. They simply acknowledged that the project is in its experimental phase, and they are monitoring for details that need to be worked out. Their focus remains clear. Successfully attracting the elusive pythons shows this project still holds the promise of being a true game-changer. While the media zeroed in on the alligator rumors, the scientists stayed focused on the data. The true breakthrough wasn't a sudden chaotic disaster. It was the careful, detailed analysis of the signals the robots sent back to the lab. Leaving behind the swamp spectacle, the lab highlights where the real progress happens. Scientists had long understood the serpent's code, the USGS's identified pattern of python movement, with their preference for tree islands and water edges. The Robo-Rabbits completed the puzzle by combining that established knowledge with fresh, real-time data verification. The success of the program is built on the synthesis of science. Every single interaction, confirmed by the AI camera system, whether it was a python, a curious marsh bird, or even a speculative alligator, gets logged. This constant stream of data from the 120 units deployed in those known high-use areas is validating which specific patches of sawgrass are most active and when. The decoys are essentially acting as automated spotters, confirming the theory with undeniable fact. Now, let's talk about AI, because even the media gets this part wrong too. The AI is not a magical solver that suddenly discovered the pythons move intentionally. That knowledge has been around for years. The AI's role is strictly validation and optimization. It takes the messy, raw detection data from the field, a heat signature here, a motion alert there, and feeds it into the geospatial data systems. These systems refine and sharpen the target zones, filtering out the noise to give the control teams a surgical strike map. The AI doesn't think. It calculates, and those calculations are invaluable. This is the strategic shift. Instead of hunters wasting hours searching 10 miles of difficult swamp based on historical data, The new system lets them stop random searching. They can focus their energy on an area measured in yards, not miles. This precision allows wildlife officials to target their most valuable resources, the highly trained human removal teams and the specialized scout snake deployments, with efficiency. This leverage is important. It means that when a scout snake is released, the data from the nearby robo-rabbit can confirm that the area is currently active, multiplying the chances of finding a breeding female. This data-driven approach is directly linked to the high-efficiency numbers. The record-breaking removals in 2025 are not just due to more people looking. They are due to better intelligence and information. The Robo-Rabbit provides the sustainable, repeatable, and ethical data stream needed for the long haul. You don't have to pay for a rabbit, and you don't have to manually check every single patch of brush. You simply charge the robot and wait for the alert. The aim isn't to claim a sudden victory with a headline like "Pythons are gone," since complete eradication is nearly impossible. Instead, it's about long-term management and containment. By blending established knowledge, cutting-edge technology, and skilled human effort, Florida stands the best chance to reduce the python's harmful effects and help native species like raccoons, opossums, and marsh rabbits start to rebound. This represents a new, sustainable approach to conservation warfare. The fight against the Burmese python is proof of the fact that real success is slow, methodical, and built on data, not headlines. Victory may not be the complete elimination of the enemy, but the successful defense of the native ecosystem. The high-tech fight against pythons carries huge financial weight beyond just ecological concerns. With Florida facing over $100 million in annual costs from ecosystem damage, loss of native mammals, and ongoing control efforts, the pressure is immense. This, along with threats to endangered species and tourism, makes innovative and affordable solutions like the Robo-Rabbit essential, not a luxury, to cut down long-term expenses and harm. Despite the huge challenges, there's hope. In areas where focused, data-driven removal efforts have lowered python numbers, researchers are seeing native species slowly making a comeback. This localized recovery is proof that targeted management can make a difference. Florida's strategy is now focused on predictive control. The state is investing in high-resolution thermal drone technology and enhanced geospatial mapping to create real-time risk zones. The battle may span generations, but the strategy is solid. Combining human determination, scout snakes, and the data-backed Robo-Rabbit network offers the best chance for long-term protection. The ultimate aim isn't just control, but a gradual, steady return to the vibrant, lively balance the Everglades truly deserve. What lessons from this battle do you think can be applied to other invasive species challenges worldwide? And what do you think will become of the Everglades if the current management strategies are not sustained? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, click on the next video on your screen. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's greatest mysteries.